Okay, that way.
Are you doing a video recording? Or?
Yeah, I'm doing a video recording.
Okay. So from the platform side of things, the Espresso.ai platform, we have a few capabilities. One is the NLP capabilities, and we'll go deeper into each of them. One is the vision capability. The third one is the conversational AI capabilities. And the fourth is structured ML machine learning. Okay? Now, all these things are, there is a lot of stuff out here that we use open source for. We have a very close partnership with SAIL, which is the Stanford AI Lab.
Mm-hmm.
Stanford AI Lab. And we collaborate with researchers out there. We produce papers, etc., etc. And what we do is bring together a lot of these things. For example, Stanford might release a model which is an open domain model, right? Open domain. Now we know that we are working with enterprise clients, and an enterprise client, they don't really want open domain because they have one domain. For example, if you're looking at the world's largest retailer, they want to look at what is the store experience, in-store experience, right? And all they care about is the engine that is looking at the social media, whether it be Twitter, Yelp, etc. And the insights that it is coming out with have to be relevant to the retailer, to the hospitality domain, right? They don't care whether if somebody asks the question to the system that, oh, who is the president of United States? The bot might say, I don't know, because they are not trying to do an open domain question answering or social media analytics solution. But they want to know if somebody says the shelves are empty. If somebody tweets that, they need to know that this is a negative sentiment. Because in the domain of hospitality, if somebody is in the store and they see that the inventory has run out, that is the worst thing ever. So now, when you look at this sentence, the shelves are empty, there is nothing negative. There is nothing, nobody's saying that the shelves are bad, the shelves are dirty. So if you take a keyword-based approach, then this thing will be completely neutral. People won't know that, okay, this is a negative. So our system, when we take an open domain system and we customize it by training, using our, and we'll go into the data tagging framework, using our framework, the thing that comes out is a domain-specific engine that will take something like this, and it will say that the aspect out here is inventory, right? And the sentiment is negative. We train the system to do that for that, right? So this is one very important thing that we do, is you can consider us as the AI bridge between academia and industry, right? Our entire goal is how do we take an enterprise which might be well underway in its cognitive journey. They can be here or they can be here. And there are various things that we have for companies, and Adobe, for example, might be here in their cognitive journey, right? But there is something that we can provide which is also very valuable to a company like Adobe. I think that's okay, going on. Now, how do we do all this, right? So one of the very important things that we have is called the DTF. DTF stands for Data Tagging Framework. Now, this is an inbuilt machinery, inbuilt module that we have, which allows a multitude of AI trainers, and we have a bunch of them. AI trainers, and there are data sources that go in. So what happens is the data tagging framework takes in data sources. AI trainers will go ahead and generate tags, and they will generate training data. And this is extremely scalable. We can have like 50 people on it, we can have like 500 people on it, and it's in-house because we have used things like Mechanical Turk and Crowdflower, and we have seen that the quality of data that these guys generate leaves a lot to be desired. So we cannot really like use that. So we have generated this. Now this is an essential toolbox for any AI task. Any supervised AI task that you can think of will need that, right? So now, whether it be NLP, vision, conversational AI, structured ML, this is something we knew. So if an enterprise is here in the cognitive journey, we still can provide this. We can provide this platform by which they can very quickly get a very high quality training data. Now, when there are companies which are just starting their thing, what we bring in is training. We bring in models, and we have existing models in NLP. We have existing models in vision. Some of the models in vision, for example, for one of the retailers, the problem we solved was that as somebody is walking out with a shopping cart, there is a loss of about, they were seeing a loss of like $20-30 million a year, where the items which were at the bottom of the basket, people were not scanning them. So what we did is they got a camera in front of the shopping cart at the bottom, and then that picture would get projected to the checkout associate. But the checkout associate, 92% of the time, the thing was empty, the bottom of the basket. And 8% of the time, there was something. But humans develop a cognitive blindness. If you see 92% of the time one kind of thing, and only 8% of the other kind of thing, that 8% of the time when you're seeing other kind, you will think it's empty, because it's just cognitive blindness. So that's where, instead of, we need to augment the human. So now what happens, when that image is taken, it gets fed into this deep learning model, which is on the cloud, right, through a REST API call, and it will come back with one result, which is it's full or empty. And if it is full, then on the terminal, a workflow starts. So the associate cannot miss it. Now it will say that there is something at the bottom. Did you scan it? Yes or no? Right? So now you know that this won't get missed. And this is already in production where people are using it. Company is using it. So that is one thing where, and what happened out there, they had a lot of these images, but they were not labeled. So we used the data tagging framework to take those images and label the data, and they did not have the necessary expertise to create these models. What we did is created an image classification model and deployed it on the cloud in a REST API in a very highly scalable way. They can have like 2-3 million images sent to that, and it still works, auto scales, etc. So this is one example of where the enterprise was here and we were able to help them out, right? From a conversational AI perspective, we have conversational bots that we build the engine for, the AI engine for, where there are two things. There are two separate things. One is the shopping assistant, where we increase the top line of an e-commerce site, and then there's a support assistant where we help with technical questions, FAQs, etc. Right? So, and this is also in production. There are companies which are using it live right now. And the whole idea is that somebody can put in a statement like, I need a green prom dress under $150, and the system will know that, okay, if it's a prom dress, then I don't need to ask for the gender. It's probably going to be a female. If it is a green one, I know that it is green, it's gonna go ahead and give me a green color, and if it's under $50, then I know that this is what they're looking for. So with one statement in a natural language, the person can speak to the bot, and they will get results which are similar to what they want. Or they can take an image of somebody or they can find, if they find something on the web which excites them, they can drag and drop that image on the bot, and now the deep learning vision engine kicks in. It will parse out the various clothing items, and now for each of these segments, it will go ahead and query the product catalog of the retailer, find the results, and help them in the journey. So this helps in engagement, increasing the revenue, etc. And within the same bot, if somebody says, I want to return my shirt, then it will guide them through that journey also. So we have that as a platform that retailers and e-commerce sites can use. And again, now this is for the RFA domain, which is the retail and fashion apparel. But if we have to do this for another domain, data tagging framework comes in, we generate or collect all the data from different sources, and we are able to get this going, right? So this is, in essence, some of the capability on the AI side that we are able to bring in. Questions?
This is perfect. So, how would you, do you have any examples? So you obviously know that we sell into customers, we also sell into businesses.
Okay.
And we are from the customer insights team. Right?
Okay.
So do you have any examples based on the engine that you have built that you may think will be applicable?
Excellent. So what we can, let me just rub this off.
Keep that, the 4 boxes, yeah.
Now, let's talk about the competition for Adobe. What are some of the competing products? So, and I'll tell you where I'm going, and then we can decide whether or not it is useful, right?
Yeah.
So, for one of the retailers, what we were able to do is look at the Twitter, and we were able to look at their Yelp, and based on the business discussion, we were able to figure out certain aspects of the business on which they needed intelligence, right? So some of the aspects that came out were pricing, service, customer service, cleanliness was very important, and this is, we are talking about the in-store experience, right? Inventory, and this is something that comes out of a discussion with the business, because that's the lens that they are looking with. We don't want to just say positive or negative. We want to see what works for you, right? Now, once we get these aspects, they wanted us to look at their competition. So they are themselves, let's say they are W1, that's the name of the customer, a retailer, and then they are looking at P1, which is their competitor, and then they are looking at, what was the other one, M1, okay? And these are the three, this is them, and these are the customers, and these are the competitors. What we were able to do is to get the social media data for all these guys, for all this stuff, and we were able to show that, okay, on pricing, this one, 83% of the people say that it's a positive, right? On this, only like 60% of the people say on a positive, right? And here, that was like 70%, let's say, right? On cleanliness, this fell down to 40%, right? This one was at 55%, and this one was at 72%, right? So now, for each of these guys, we were able to give competitive intelligence right in one dashboard, and the beauty of it is, anytime this changes, the social media changes, this gets available, right? So now the important thing is that their customers for this might be a very different customer within the enterprise. There is a separate department which is looking at customer service. Pricing is a separate department. But in one integrated report, we are able to say how this is able to look at everything. Right? So now, if you're looking at Adobe, right? If you're talking about, let's say, one product, which is Lightroom, right? What can be done is we look at some of the competitors who are doing that. Let's figure out on which axes you need intelligence, and we can get the system going. Right? So this is something that can be done. That is something that we have already done. It is in production for some customers, and this is one of the things in social media that we can do. The other thing we can do